Well, we are here with Timo Vuorensola.
My name is Timo Vuorensola. I'm a citizen of Finland. Today is May 14th. I have been treated well. I appear in front of the camera out of my own free will, and I have not been forced to do anything.
Some tips. What to do, what not to do.
In general, I would say that yeah, it's a long time, and when you're doing something with crowdsourcing, you have to give it time. It doesn't happen overnight. There is no way to sort of rush things through. It takes time to build an audience, and once you have an audience, then you can start crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. But before that, you can't. So you have to build an audience. So do's and don'ts, I would say that give it time, don't rush it. Don't start asking people money until you have a good community. And know what you're asking and know what you're doing with it, and be always transparent. Be honest and transparent with the audience.
How important is to have something to show that community?
It's very important because, especially nowadays, it's not enough just to go and say that I have the coolest film in the world, because everybody does. You know? Everybody has the coolest film in the world. The only way to really prove it is to show, actually, this is the kind of film that it is. And it doesn't have to be like a professional, high-quality material of the film, because you don't have the money to do that before your crowdfunding. So you have to do something, but you can see the talent, even if it's something you shoot with your iPhone. You can still see if there is talent behind it. And people are interested in talent. They will support if there is a good idea and there's people behind it who seem to have an idea what they're doing, even if they don't have the money right now. That's the whole idea of crowdfunding. You get money from the crowd to realize your dream. Sort of, it used to be a very typical thought up to 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, because we identify science fiction as something that is made by big Hollywood blockbuster.
Exactly.
It's like Terminator 2. It's like Prometheus. It's these big films. But science fiction is much more than $150 million. Science fiction is it can be shot with absolutely €0 if you have a good idea, good, clever science fiction idea. Something that is scientifically impossible, but could be possible. And then you create a story around that. Even a time machine, even a man who goes back in time 20 minutes. You can shoot it anywhere, you don't need special effects. But that's science fiction, because it's impossible by science, but it could be possible, and then you make a story around it. But when you go to, like, typical what science fiction people think, what people think about science fiction is usually spaceships and explosions and visual effects. Even that is nowadays much more cheaper to do, much more easier to achieve, because programs are cheaper, people are more experienced, they do it for free, for fun. They've been learning all their lives to do visual effects.
The PELI audience about the Iron Sky. To tell the people, is the main idea is a group of Nazis that fly after they defeat in the war, fly to the moon, and they come back, and that's the main idea of the movie?
That's basically the idea. That the pitch of the film is that in 1945 the Nazis went to the moon, and in 2018 they are coming back. The interesting things about it is, first, to go into the Nazi society. What happened in the 73 years on the dark side of the moon? They've been completely isolated. They didn't have anybody to fight. What kind of a society builds up in there? And once they eventually come back to Earth, which has completely changed, and the Nazi propaganda says that that the communists win the war, and that it's a terrible barbaric place. But when they come to Earth, they see it's actually pretty okay. It's not perfect, but it's much different than the Nazi propaganda is saying. So how do these people who've been living all their life believing that this is like some barbaric communistic, like a huge Russia, the whole world, and they come and it's like they find the varieties and different kind of people and different kind of ways to think, and they find the technological advancements, how they treat with that. And eventually what happens when the Nazi army, which we've been building for the 70 years on the dark side of the moon, their war machines, when they finally decide to attack Earth. And it's old technology.
Yeah,
it's big, it's special technology, but it's old. They haven't had any technological advancements since they went to the moon, because there's no outside forces to give them. So they've been just building up what they had back then. So they have big tank-like spaceships, but they are very slow and old. So the fight between high tech and old tech is interesting, and it's massive, and it's explosive, and it's really fun. It's good fun to make a.
Staying with Nazi and crowdsourcing, there is a Nazi vision in crowdsourcing.
Well, Nazi vision itself is. I wouldn't say that it's the Nazi vision, but what if you?
Democracy doesn't work.
Sorry.
Democracy doesn't work.
That's one thing. What I believe in crowdsourcing, especially if you're doing crowdsourcing for creative work. It's not a democracy. It is a dictatorship of a kind. Yeah. It's not, we're not killing anybody, but still, it's a dictatorship. I decide, I decide what goes into the film or what doesn't. But again, it's a huge difference to have that in politics and have that in artistic creation. But yeah, it's you would say that it's a strong dictatorship because you gotta have one guy who's leading the whole thing, and all the people who are contributing, they are contributors, but they don't have to say what the film itself is going to be.
And some of one have egos.
Sorry?
Some of one of that crew has his own
egos.
Yeah, sure.
To have to manage everything.
Yeah. So, but when you have a large crowd of people, there is different kind of people, different kind of egos, and it doesn't work for everybody. Crowdsourcing is not for everybody. Some people want to do their own stuff, want to have all the control to themselves, don't want to have anybody, anywhere affecting it, and some people do. For me, it's natural. I've done that all my life, more or less, so it's quite easy to work with somebody who is, with a lot of people, still knowing what I want and still sort of running the show, but still being able to listen to other people, and I think that's always
there. Talk about a little about the game, the video game, about the movie. You are involved, or you just simple give the idea and that's it? The
basically, with Iron Sky 1, yes, we did that. We basically gave out the IP for the game company to do a game of their own. They did a space battle game. Iron Sky Invasion is the name of the game. But we didn't have basically anything to do with the production of that game. With Iron Sky sequel, the next Iron Sky, we're definitely, I believe, in a very wide transmedia approach, which means that we will have computer game, we will have comic book, we will have mini web series. All of these things build around the franchise of Iron Sky and everything connected directly. The thing with the game was that the game came after the film was after the film was done already, so it was sort of like there wasn't a possibility for interaction there. But with the next one, we're definitely going to do more deeper interaction and start building.
This one is a message to the community of the PELI. My name is Timo Vuorensola. I am a science fiction filmmaker from Finland, and I made a film called Iron Sky. Go and see it wherever you find it. Check it out. I also made a film called Star Trek before that. Go and get it. It's also great. But Iron Sky is the one. And support Iron Sky. Sequel, we're working on it. It's called Iron Sky: The Coming Race. Rock on!